Take a look at this night.
Jack Grealish is looking for another, and it is 7!
Jack Grealish tore the champions apart with 2 goals and 3 assists.
Given away by Adrian, and here's Ollie Watkins. Watkins looking to take it all away, and he has! One through to Ross Barkley. Oh!
He was unstoppable, the kind of player who could run a game by himself. But when was the last time you saw that Jack Grealish? Because somewhere between being Villa's golden boy and City's £100 million superstar, he stopped being electric and started being something else, something unfamiliar. But here's the strange part. Just last month, he suddenly looked like himself again. Sharp, decisive, winning player of the month. So the question is, why did he lose that spark in the first place? And what's making him exciting now again? To understand what really happened to Grealish, let's go back to the beginning. Picture this, it's the spring of 2014 at Villa Park. A kid barely out of his teens, waiting for his chance. Looks straight out of a 90s football scene. Socks rolled down, hair slicked back. Grealish had been at Aston Villa since he was 6 years old. But this time, it was different. This was the Premier League. On May the 7th against Manchester City, he finally made his debut. The scoreboard read 4-0 to City, and for most players on the losing end, that kind of night would be forgettable. But when Grealish stepped onto the pitch, it didn't feel like another late substitution. It felt like a signal. The way he wanted the ball, the way he carried himself, the way he drew fouls even in defeat. There was something special about him. Something Villa fans hadn't seen in years. In fact, Villa fans never saw Jack Grealish before. Notts County had. Months earlier, Aston Villa sent him on loan to England's 3rd tier, football's wilderness. For most, it's where careers disappear, but Grealish lit it up. Dribbles, assists, moments of arrogance that belonged at a higher level. By December, County fans were chanting his name. At 17, he bent games to his will. So when he came back to Villa, there was a buzz. This was a boy from Birmingham carrying swagger and street football confidence into the Premier League. By 2015, that confidence exploded onto the biggest stage, the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool. Grealish owned that night. He registered 2 assists and put up a performance that sent Villa through to their first final of the century. And all of a sudden, the entire country knew his name. But what made him special wasn't pace or power, it was the way he carried the ball. He had this low center glide, a drop of the shoulder, and defenders were hacking him down just to stop him. By 2021, he'd been fouled more than any player in Premier League history in a single season, 167 times. They weren't stopping him, they were haunting him. For Villa fans, it was pure love. Their captain, their symbol, a local kid dragging them forward when the club felt stuck in the mud. He wasn't just playing football, he was giving them hope. But while they relished in his brilliance on the pitch, a different story was beginning to unfold. Because for every dazzling dribble, there was a headline waiting. And soon, the golden boy of Villa would find out that talent alone couldn't hide the chaos creeping into his life. The first warning signs came in 2015. Photos surfaced of a 19-year-old Grealish passed out on a street in Tenerife during his holiday. For most young footballers, it might have been brushed off as a youthful mistake. But when you're the face of Aston Villa, it becomes front-page news. The tabloids had found their target. Pictures of late nights at Birmingham, stories linking him to party scenes. Suddenly, Jack Grealish wasn't just a footballer, he was a headline waiting to happen. Tim Sherwood, his manager at the time, had to pull him aside. Talent only gets you so far. And here's the thing about Grealish, he never hid from it. He wasn't the polished media-trained star speaking in cliches. He was raw, he was messy, and in his own words, just a kid from Birmingham who loved football and living life on his own terms. The pattern would continue throughout his Villa years. But remarkably, it never affected his performances. There was always two Jacks, one that would make you believe in miracles and the one who could make you shake your head. Villa fans never turned on him. If anything, they defended him louder, because for them, Jack Grealish was their own. If he stumbled, so what? He was still theirs. But beyond Birmingham, the questions grew. Was he serious enough? Could he handle the pressure of being England's golden boy? Because when Manchester City came calling with £100 million, those questions would become impossible to ignore. Nobody doubted Jack Grealish's talent, and I'm not about to do that now. Not at Villa, not at England, not even at City. The question was never, is he good? The question was, why does he suddenly look so ordinary? The answer isn't what you think. Most fans make the argument that the real reason Grealish at Aston Villa was chaos in boots is because everything ran through him. Every dribble, every foul won, every attack. Villa gave him the ball and got out of the way. And they're sort of correct, because he actually thrived in that freedom. But when he moved to Manchester City, everything changed. Pep Guardiola didn't want chaos. He wanted control. The 100 million man went from being Villa's conductor to just another instrument in Pep's orchestra, constantly dancing to his uninterrupted tune. Or, as we call it, boring football. Suddenly, the Grealish who carried games on his back was gone. Instead, he was slowing the tempo, recycling possession, doing the safe thing Pep demanded. And that's why people said he looked like he was playing on low battery. Because all the things that made him electric, the swagger, the arrogance, the unpredictability, got stripped away. Now, on paper, he wasn't bad. In fact, in City's treble-winning season, he was crucial. He pressed relentlessly, he created chances, he even finished top 5 for expected assists in the Premier League. But football isn't just numbers, it's a feeling, and the feeling around Grealish was different. Fans didn't see Villa Jack anymore. They saw a winger laying low, while Haaland and De Bruyne stole the spotlight. Was it effective? Sure. Exciting? Not even close. And then there was the noise off the pitch. The parties got worse, the drinking increased, the 72-hour bender after City's treble. Clips of him stumbling through parades went more viral than his highlights. His reputation became a meme. Jack Grealish, the lad who celebrates harder than he plays. His dribbles turned into YouTube jokes. He became a system player in the greatest system football has ever seen. But nobody spends 100 million to be a cog in the machine. So the problem wasn't that Grealish got worse, it's that he stopped looking like Jack Grealish. At Villa, he was a menace. At City, he turned into the boring guy who takes 3 touches just to pass it back to Rodri. And boring is the last thing Jack Grealish was supposed to be. So boring, in fact, that Pep Guardiola went out and signed Jeremy Doku, a younger winger who plays with the very chaos Grealish had, but lost. His appearances were limited, and this season, he got shipped off to Everton. From the moment he stepped onto the pitch as an Everton player, you could feel it. Against Brighton, he recorded 2 assists, one for Ndiaye, one for Ghana. And it didn't stop there. Next game against Wolves, another 2 assists, another win. 4 assists in a month, more than anyone else in the Premier League. By the end of August, he won the Premier League's Player of the Month. Not at Villa, not at Manchester City during the treble. Everton. He looked like the Grealish we knew. But forget the numbers for a second. The difference is in the way he moves. The dribbles are sharper. The arrogance is back. He's dropping his shoulder, daring defenders to stop him, and they can't. He looks like the kid who strolled out of the 90s, socks rolled down, hairband bouncing, carrying games on his back. So why now? Why Everton? The answer is because Everton, like Villa before them, gave him the keys and the fans adored him. At City, he was just another supporting role. At Everton, he's the one driving it. And even he admits he's finally enjoying football again. Moyes has Ndiaye and Grealish running the attack like it's theirs, and Jack thrives when he feels like the main man. And his secret boost is also the love the fans give him, which he obviously didn't get much at Man City. And that's why he's exciting again. Not because the stats are neat, but because he's happy to be back playing the way he thrives. The danger, the swagger, the spark that made him different. Now the only question is whether this is a hot streak or the start of Jack Grealish's second act. Jack Grealish isn't perfect, and he may never be the chaos merchant who tore apart Liverpool in the Villa shirt again. But maybe that doesn't matter, because right now at Everton he's exciting again, and we'll see if he can make it back to the England team ahead of the World Cup. But Grealish isn't the only English star who once had the world at his feet. Because while Grealish is fighting to prove he's still exciting, Marcus Rashford's story takes that same question and flips it on its head. Check out this next video to find out what really happened to Marcus Rashford. See you there.